How's it going, citizens? I'm Sir6, your salty aerospace technician, and today, CIG completely revealed the Mantis that has been leaked for a while now. And instead of the heavy fighter like some of us thought, over the last week of the reveal, it turned out to be an interdictor. Also, with the complete reveal came this article discussing how the mechanic will work. Just remember that things are always subject to change, but here's the info firsthand. At its core, quantum enforcement gameplay is about stalling quantum travel using quantum enforcement devices, or QED. This device is comprised of 3 rings housed in the rear of the craft. And as far as we know, there are 2 basic features of the Mantis that prevents players from safely zipping from one end of the persistent universe to the other. That is the quantum snare and quantum dampening. Quantum snare is going to be a large radius event like fishing, where you pull people out of quantum travel and hold them there as long as you have the device on. However though, this is a much more involved event in which you need to charge up the device first. There's a waiting period very similar to what we have in-game mechanics wise like an EMP. Now, quantum dampening is when you sidle up to the ship and then prevent the quantum drive from activating in the first place. This reminds me of the warp scrambler from Eve, preventing you from leaving the area as long as a person can keep the module on with an active lock on you. Quantum dampening will be a much smaller radius, maybe somewhere around 2,000 meters. It will be an instant on function in which there is a sphere of influence around you that prevents any other ship from quantum traveling. So you are basically turning the ignition off on any quantum drive so they cannot pull away. However, you'll need to be relatively close to other ships to do that. With the newfound capability in mind, citizens may be wondering precisely how to trigger quantum dampening and quantum snare in game. On the subject, the developers went into detail and said when you release the charge, it will be anywhere between 10,000 to 20,000 meters in start. That is ridiculously huge. It generates a sphere that will pull anyone that happens to be quantum traveling through the sphere out of it. This includes AI and players. When you pull them out, you'll leave the device on. Anyone who happens to be traveling through it while the device is on will also get pulled out as well. Anyone you do pull out while it's on will have their quantum drive tethered, so they can't fly away. Both of these processes generate a red hue to counteract the cool blue styling of quantum travel effects. To further signal the player, quantum markers allow the Mantis owner to easily track their prey and confront them as they choose. Quantum snare and quantum dampening aren't just new concepts though. Both features also open up new gameplay opportunities across the board. With the Launcher 3.7, with a ship like the Mantis that can stall and attack players in transit, the community as a whole will need to adapt whether they are a casual quantum traveler user or fresh-faced enforcer. Now let's talk about balancing. The ability to stall others mid-flight is a massive strength on its own, but there are a few key downsides to quantum enforcement to ensure Mantis owners will almost always need support nearby. With a small assortment of missiles on board, the craft might be unprepared for some vehicles that it drags out of deep space. So even though you can solo the ship, you may not be prepared for all the eventualities. If you pull out a big ship and you don't have enough people with you, you're probably going to put yourself in a real bad situation. Also, using the Mantis' QED is a huge drain on the vehicle's power to defend, because the activation and tethering of the QED will require a lot of power and generate a lot of heat. You'll have to turn down other systems. That's the way they're going to balance this, so you cannot go full shields, full thrusters, and full weapons. Also, it is a nice benefit that players in your party will be informed when every ship you've captured while in your Mantis. Also, there's the concept of quantum linking. Quantum linking is several ships doing the same quantum traveling. Anyone within the sphere of influence of the quantum snare will also get pulled out. So your buddies that are with you in quantum link travel should also get pulled out with you. This results in cases where the Mantis pilots could be dealing with a sudden encounter of large fleets. And in those instances, you surely need an army to come aid you. And also, probably one of the most important parts is that with the future of quantum enforcement, that this first version, they won't quite get to the balancing yet. Other discussions included the UI element that alerts the Mantis pilots of high traffic areas. The quantum enforcement UI will be fully functional for the ship itself, but it may not be totally clear to prey when they're being yanked out of quantum travel. Anyways, so far that's all the info we have until CIG releases the official stats. I figured I might as well give this out to you so you can have a general idea. If you like this video and you got something out of it, then feel free to share it with anybody who would also like this information, and feel free to give me a like as well. Also, tell me your own thoughts on the Mantis. I understand a lot of people are going to have issues with it because they already are tired of quantum interdiction. So just putting it in the player's hands is just going to expedite everyone's frustration. And also feel free to subscribe. Remember, citizens, your subscriptions help me reach out even further to the community so they also can benefit from my content. And if you'd like to, you can further support me on Patreon. It's never necessary, but it's highly appreciated. But until next time, fellow citizens, I will see you on the flip side.